What's up, folks? I'm back with another reaction, and I'm back to react to a group for the first time. And anytime I do that on my channel, I just give a brief introduction and welcome to anyone who found this channel through looking for an OMD reaction. That's right, we're going to react to a song from Orchestral Manoeuvres in the Dark. This is a group I know from my youth. Indeed, part of my introduction is usually just to indicate I was born in 1980, so I was a single-digit kid in the 80s, so a lot of 80s groups, synth pop, 80s rock, and so on. They sort of dot the mental landscape of my memories, listen to songs on the radio. A few groups in particular, like Depeche Mode, I very much got into and became one of my lifelong enjoyments. In more recent times, especially in the last year since I started doing reactions, I've sort of reconnected with a lot of groups that I only knew glancingly or fleetingly, one or two songs on the radio, and in many cases it's been a remarkable deep dive and enjoyable journey. But generally speaking, I'm a physical collector of music. I have many, multiple thousands of records, multiple thousands of CDs. I used to collect mixtapes when I was younger. So yeah, I'm in my early 40s. I have a lot of music. I do things differently on this channel. Nothing against people who react to YouTube videos. I know that's the way the majority of YouTube reactors and go about their business, and I totally respect that. But again, I celebrate physical media here because I've been collecting for a long time, as you can surely see. And yeah, so I celebrate the physical release. Now, there is an asterisk with all this, meaning that as I've reacted to more and more material, a number of friends of the channel have begun to reach out and give me access to some albums that I haven't got myself yet. I am still, buying albums, and indeed, a lot of the 80s groups that I've been going on deep dives of, I've been actually getting some of the physical albums after sort of re-engaging with their material. But there are now many cases where I haven't yet got the album, but I'm able to start reacting to material because of some awesome friends of the channel who have sort of made their albums available to me. So yeah, that's basically what I do here. It's more of a DIY, just kind of old school, sort of intimate setting for the reactions. So yeah, check it out, see what you think. But we're going to listen to a song, as I said, from Orchestral Manoeuvres in the Dark. They got started in the late 70s under a couple different names at first. But yeah, they are an English electronic group. One of the tunes that I think many people will know is If You Leave. We're going to listen to a tune. I've been given access to a greatest hits through a friend of the channel, Han Solo. I think it's just Best Of is what it's called. It's like Best Of OMD. The first tune is Electricity. We're going to get to that one. But before we do that, I mentioned I've been collecting music a long time, and I've gotten records from all sorts of different places and different occasions throughout my life. Have I gotten large collections of 80s vinyl, some from my sister, some from one of my old roommates who was giving away records, other times just going to vinyl shops, whether to buy techno. I do mix a lot of techno and trance and hardcore and so on, but every once in a while I'd be in a shop looking for that and be like, oh wait, there's the Safety Dance, Men Without Hats over there, I'll go buy that. So yeah, over the years I've gotten 80s vinyl from all sorts of places. So I have a 12-inch single from '85, which I believe is the same year that they came out with the album Crush. And indeed, it makes the point that So In Love, which I would say is another a tune that I'm pretty sure a lot of people know. I think it's a hit of theirs. Correct me if I'm wrong. Although I should point out, my copy here has a special American dance remix of So In Love, so it's not the album version that's on Crush. But this is, I think, from the era when they released the album Crush, '85. So yeah, we're going to listen to the other tune on this, which is called Concrete Hands Extended. I looked just now on the track list. I don't see Concrete Hands as one of the tracks on Crush, so I'm not sure where the original version of the tune appears. Perhaps it is itself just a different single, and this is sort of like a remix single that came out around the same time. But yeah, I'm not sure of the provenance of the original version. But yeah, let's get to it. This is Orchestral Manoeuvres in the Dark. Concrete Hands. Oh, what am I saying? Let's get to it. I should mention, when I react to music that, as far as I know, I haven't heard before, I usually just like to speculate about the title for a minute or two. It's just an exercise to get my brain working, to begin thinking about possible themes, so that if I do hear a line or two that sort of fits into one of the ideas or motifs that I considered, it will be more immediately discernible or interpretable. So yeah, the phrase concrete hands is interesting in that it seems to be sort of a contrast or juxtaposition. Hands are very tactile by their very nature. They are good at feeling, sensing, whether texture, the type of surface, the possible like danger of some substance or so on. So they are very like feel-oriented, tactile, dependent appendage. And if you had concrete hands, you would be far less capable of discerning the texture or feeling of other materials, other objects, other people. So in a way, it's sort of a juxtaposition, because if you had concrete hands, you would be less capable of using those appendages as hands are often used. But also, I'm thinking about the phrase concrete hands. I believe, it's sort of used, like in my mind, or to my experience, in some sporting context, the idea of like, someone throws you a ball and you can't catch it, where you got stone hands. You don't have grace or agility in the way that you move your hands. So I suppose it could manifest in a few different contexts. I imagine it will be on some level a metaphor, and perhaps will relate to emotional interactions or so on. But let's get it. This is the extended mix of Concrete Hands by Orchestral Manoeuvres in the Dark, 12-inch single, seemingly like a remix 12-inch single that I have from 1985. Ooh, sounds like we got a little bit of business on the record. I do apologize. You have these records for like 37 years. They're gonna pick up some damage. I assume though, if this is extended, it's not remixed by someone else. This is just like a longer cut of the song composed by OMD. Because it makes mention that the remix of So In Love is like produced by someone else, so I'm assuming this is just a longer version of Concrete Hands. Like angry lawnmower layer. Dissonant sharp, it like demands your attention. Oh, hello. Some delicious synth bass. Like the keys. They're a bit wicked, they're a bit like funky. I like those kind of high, almost falsetto vocal flourishes. Sort of a xylophone feel. I like it. It's very expansive, like full of wonder. It does have a feel of like a dance remix, so I keep thinking we're gonna hear like a proper verse, but it does seem more like a 12-inch dance floor remix. Vocal choral pads rising. Okay. This thing's from front to back, so getting faster now. Your mom's like a chameleon. She changes with the children. She split the size car. Eyes like a chameleon. She changes like a what? Take a walk. Give each other objects to remind them of their night. This is something that they said, but always turns out right. Shh, 2 minute silence is taking her out tonight. He's taking her out tonight. So they saw each other, now they're going out for the night. It all turns out right. Fascinating tune sonically. like a exotic bird song. That's cool. I wonder, if the reason it eventually did feel like more a proper song, but it was like 3 minutes in. So I suppose, maybe the major difference between that and the original is an extended intro. But yeah, that was cool. Yeah, lyrically, I gotta hear some more of it. Obviously, there's a part at the end about, boy sees girl, girl sees boy, and then they're gonna go out at night, and I think it's gonna turn out all right. So on some level, it does seem like there's an emotional engagement. Again, so concrete hands seemingly like more as a metaphor, and I'm not sure if that maybe indicates clumsiness or perhaps like an indelicacy. But yeah, if everything turns out all right, I can't imagine that theme, either of those themes, would run too far. So, like I said, gotta listen to it some more. And indeed, for those of you new to the channel, I do these reactions. There's been a certain occasions where a tune will start. It's like, wait a minute, no, I have heard this. Maybe it was on the radio when I was a kid, maybe a little bit later. But in a lot of cases, I'm reacting to music I haven't heard before. So not only do I just like to think about the title for a minute or two before, but when the song is over, it's often the case that maybe I didn't hear every line perfectly. And some bands more than others, sometimes a voice or just the way a group does their sonics means like it's a bit harder for me to pick up the lines. But when I'm done doing like an initial reaction like this, I do give it an immersive listen in headphones. So over successive listens, hopefully I'll pick up on some more of the lines, but do let me know if you have some insight on, any of the lines that are particularly insightful in terms of conveying the themes at play. But yeah, other than that, shout out to anyone who found this channel anew. Shout out to all of you who've already been here and reacting or commenting on my other reactions. I really do appreciate you. Again, I have a Best of OMD album available at my disposal. Once again, shout out to Han Solo for the OMD material. But yeah, so I'll start going through that. Eventually, I may get some of the albums, but bottom line, I think that'll be a good way to go through, and I imagine get sort of a sampling of a few different of their albums and, maybe some hits from each of the most prominent releases. So in any case, let me know what you think of this tune. I will see you next time. Peace.